What's our big news? If you haven't seen already, we've got
a boat.
We've got a boat. I'm now officially a skipper.
So yeah, we've got a boat.
We got a boat. We've thought about it and thought about it. We've dreamt about it. We've spoken to so many people. We've done so much research, and we've made an awesome decision. What have we got?
We've got a True Kit Discovery 400, so a 4-meter inflatable True Kit catamaran.
And it is absolutely amazing. We did an awful lot of research into the True Kit brand. They're a New Zealand brand, so that's effectively Australian, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a state of Australia.
And Rod and the team, Fergus, had done so much research and development. Rod comes from a yachting background and is very, very knowledgeable in the whole boat world, and has been developing these units for I think in excess of 10 years, and the refinements and the technology and the design work and the quality of all that work was what drew us to their brand.
Yeah. Plus, we could not put a tinny in our setup. Like, we don't have the space for it. So weight's one thing, and you can probably get a tinny around the same weights as what we've ended up putting in our kit, but we just didn't have the space for it. We couldn't put it on the roof because we're carrying surfboards, and we couldn't carry it on the back because we've got the van. So our only option of having a boat was to have an inflatable.
Yeah, weight, as Lee said, is a premium. There's a lot of focus on caravan and car weights these days, and rightfully so. And there's a lot more enforcement of those regulations, and you could void your whole insurance policy if you're carrying too much weight.
Yeah.
So that was critical for us. One of the biggest decisions in why we went to a True Kit boat was that.
Yeah. When we got weighed last time, we knew that we had capacity in the caravan's ATM to carry more weight in the van, but not in the car. So the car was pretty much, we have a little bit of payload left there, but not enough to put the True Kit into the car or to put a boat in the car. So that was another reason that whatever we got needed to be able to be carried in the caravan. Otherwise, we would have had to, take lots of stuff out of the car and carry it in the caravan.
A tip that I always give people is get a pro weigh. There's lots and lots of companies around now that will meet you at your house or meet you at a location close to your house, do a professional weigh. Sort of 200 to mid-high threes is a ballpark weight for a pro weigh, and I would say that's a really good investment. We've done a big cleansing of both. We've cleansed both the caravan to even take more weight out, and we've also cleansed from the car and done a massive weight reduction of things that we didn't need, and so as a combination of car and caravan, we've probably culled close to 300 kilos, which is a lot, and it doesn't take that much to do it. It really, really doesn't. So the boat was, I think, 41 kilos. We went with a Yamaha. We went with a 9.9 4-stroke, and we're stoked.
Yeah.
It's 39 or 40 kilos as well, so the combination of about 80 kilos is well within our tolerances. We've now converted the whole tunnel boot to what Lee affectionately now calls our boat shed. So we all the stuff that we were carrying in there that we thought was super important, we've actually been able to decant from the tunnel boot, repurpose it now as our boat shed, and we've now got a whole new travelling lifestyle.
Everything fits. And that's all we've got in the tunnel boot. It's all the boat and the boat equipment. So we also went some extra equipment too, didn't we? Like, we've gone for a bimini. Because we're going to be out in the sun on the Ningaloo coast for, the next 6 months pretty much. So we wanted to make sure that we had good sun protection so we can stay out on the water longer.
And the bimini is super, super strong.
We've got the wheels on the back of the boat.
They've got these removable wheels, and they're on a stainless steel backing plate on the transom, and so they lock into place for dragging, and they're a pneumatic wheel. You can drag it across the sand. You can do it with one person. Two makes it a little bit easier when you're getting into our vintage. but I can definitely do it with the motor on and all the gear in the boat. If the sand's hard packed, no worries at all. If it's soft, I can still do it, but it's getting close to my limits. So transportability, you might have your caravan offset on the beach, but you might have a walk down to the water's edge. These wheels, I would say, put them on your list.
We've got the seat bag so that we can store, it's a waterproof bag, we can throw our car keys in it and iPhones and we can throw all of that in the pocket at the front, and then inside we could put things like our jumpers and whatever we really want, we can put in that seat bag, and it keeps it all neat and tidy, just tucked under the seat, which is pretty much dead space usually.
Yeah, so it's right under the driver's seat. I'm going to throw an EPIRB in there as well, and some of our safety equipment. We ticked all the boxes for every accessory, and I'm stoked that we did. So we went through wheels, bimini, the Railblazer accessories for the transom, the underseat cover, or underseat bag, the front bridle. That's a given.
Yeah, you've got to have a bridle.
You got to have that.
Yeah.
My opinion, you've almost got to have everything. If you had to cut something off and you cut the bimini off, I think you might regret it, especially if you're going to go somewhere like we're going to Western Australia where the heat will get you out of the water really quickly.
It depends what you're using it for, doesn't it?
For the boat motor, we got an Allmac engineering boat slide. Now they'd made a few that we'd happened to in our research that they're a massive brand in that space. We often try to find the best. We've always been pay once as opposed to poor man buys twice. We sought out and spoke to a lot of people. They seem to kept coming up to the top. We spoke to them. They'd actually done some work on a caravan identical to ours, and I really liked what they'd done. I'm not a big fan of carrying weight on the rear of a caravan, but we've only got one single wheel, and as opposed to two and jerry can holders that this van's rated for. And so with minusing that, the 40 kilos that the boat motor and then 15 k's for the slide that it adds on, we're cost neutral, so to speak, and it's really solid. And the Zone caravan has its chassis comes out to form the rear. It's almost a tie bar as opposed to a bolt-on tow bar rear bar, so it doesn't get that harmonic flex that lots of other vans do with their rear bars. So you work out what suits your setup, but for us, this boat slide worked perfectly, and we're stoked. Yeah, it's really easy to. We've only done it 2 or 3 times. We've now got it into a bit of a pattern.
And we've just thrown an outboard cover on it just to protect it from the dust and the stones as we're driving along as well.
It's a great little addition, and again, we think from the weight of the front at the tunnel with the boat, and then the weight of the motor at the rear, it's going to be a pretty even balance.
One of the things that we were a bit concerned about was ordering from New Zealand and how that would work. Was that going to be hard? How long was it going to take? What was going to be the deal with customs? It was so simple. From the time that we placed our order, it had arrived in Australia in 5 days, and we received notification from FedEx that we had a customs order there. We had to pay GST and customs duty on it, so I think that's about 10% of the purchase price. And then once we'd paid that, it was then transported to our nearest FedEx depot, and we just went and picked it up. From the time of placing the order to us actually picking it up at FedEx, I think was about 10 days in total. So super easy, really easy.
When you open the box, right at the top, which is a really smart idea, is the Welcome to the True Kit Community brochure. But there's a really important document inside it, and that's the manufacturer's certificate of origin. Effectively what that is a birth certificate. So it actually tells you the date of the manufacturer of the boat and its unique hull identification number, which is almost like its birth signature. So you use that to go down to your local authority. For us, it's Vic Roads in Victoria, and we can register the boat.
So first time out on the water, we were pretty nervous, and we drove down to our local boat ramp, and for the first time in 18 months of travelling, we got bogged. So and it's one of the busiest places in Torquay, so there are people everywhere. There's a cafe right there, so there's people going in and out of the cafe, and we were definitely feeling the pressure. Anyway, once we got out of the bog, which was just a case of letting the tyres down, we unpacked the boat and dropped it all on the sand, and we were in the water first time within an hour of leaving our house, and that included getting out of our bog.
It definitely threw the anxiety levels up.
Yeah, but actually setting the boat up was pretty simple and straightforward, and it all came together really well.
One tip that I've got is I've got a Milwaukee blower, and if I just get that little battery powered blower and put it on top of the air intake or the air inlet, I take it up to about 80-90% just with the blower, and then I just use the hand pump to get me, which has got a dial gauge indicator that gives me the right PSI to take it up to that final little bit of tuning. But it just saves a whole heap of pumping. Yeah.
And then the next stress was first time starting the motor.
Yeah.
So popped the motor on the transom, got in the water.
Two pulls, like the Grant at Yamaha Boating Centre in Geelong told us it'd take 2 times for the first time, and he was spot on. Two pulls and she was away. And so we zoomed around for about 10 Ks, went out the front to Super Tubes and some local areas around Torquay. We went down to Point Impossible, had a cruise around, and it was really good. We became quite comfortable with her very, very quickly, and she handled the wind chopped up a little bit, and it wasn't perfect conditions, so that was great. We got to see how she performed in choppy conditions, and she lapped it up with our 9.9 Yami. We were sitting around 30 kilometres an hour, and she just pulled us like it was no drama up onto the plane. We did fit a permatrim, which we got from the guys in New Zealand at TrueKit. They do recommend that, and one of the things that TrueKit do really, really well, there's a lot of instructional videos right from the setup and right through to the pack up. And it was only yesterday we did a pack up of the boat again, and we went, we've done something wrong. Lee just jumped on YouTube, watched Rod and what he was doing, and there was one fold that we'd done incorrectly that made the difference of it fitting in the tunnel boot to not fitting in the tunnel boot. So we'll overlay some photos of how it fits into the tunnel boot. Yeah. It's quite a small space for a 4-metre boat, but folded, it's only 4 folds. Yeah. 4 folds that Rod suggests, but if you do it the way he shows you to do it, and I thought that was a really good thing. It's like, when you buy a tent and it comes out of the bag and you can never get it back in the bag the same way, but they never show you how to get it back into the bag. Rod's actually taken the time to actually film a deflated boat and to then how to fold it and to repack it in, and it worked a treat for us. We just watched that for another few minutes. That's what we're doing wrong. Bang, up she went, and she just folds into this beautiful little package. Yeah. It's really, really well thought out, and their bag is I don't know what you describe it as. It's
an envelope.
Yeah,
that's how they describe it, as an envelope. So it just folds across and has some eyelet tie downs
that are built into the envelope. It's
almost like an envelope cover.
Yeah. And it works fantastic. So you don't have to worry about snapping zips and all that sort of stuff. It then does the pre-tension. Watch the videos even before you purchase one. Watch the videos, see how easy it is. It's really quite easy. So a lot of people sort of thought, it's going to be a pain in the ass. It's 20 minutes.
Once we got off the beach, it was probably 20 minutes to pack up, get it all back in the car, and we figured out how it all fits in the car, so that if we need to transport it because we're not camped on a beach, we can easily throw it in the car and fit it all in.
That's a great point. That's a great point. So even so, South Lefroy, you could park your van, then drive down to the beach, decant everything out of your car. So we just throw the yam in behind the seats of the ramp, fits in like a dream. Then inside the canopy, we just put all the TrueKit gear, but you could fit that into a back seat of a car.
Yeah, like we still had space for Oz. Oz could still travel in the car with all the boat gear to go down to the water.
Yeah, so just say you wanted to do a 40k trip from camp to a different, an easier access point to the water and all that sort of stuff, or an inland stream, lake, or something like that. transporting in a car is another advantage of these things, where you can drive straight. If you can drive straight up to the water's edge, you just take it out.
We're so excited to be able to get out on the water. Like, it's going to be a game changer for our travels, isn't it? It's going to be an absolute game changer.
That classic touring family word, game changer. But this one is, for us, having our own boat where we can leave at whatever time in the morning we want, or whatever time in the afternoon, and we are super pumped. We've both fallen into it. We both love it. So it's a real compliment to our whole traveling style.
Yeah, that's right. It's just another salty element to our salty life.
Yeah. And we're, like I always said, that one day after my surfing and kite surfing, I was going to say career or hobbies, come to an end just because of age, that I wanted to then get into the fishing space. I can't harp on enough about the quality of the gear that these guys use. It's a German fabric that they use, so it's quite industrialized. The biggest thing, its lightness, its portability, and its quality.
Yeah.
It was a game. It was a game
changer.
Was a game changer.
It's got to be a game changer.
It was super fast service, super fast processing, and once we opened up that box, we were stoked. Yeah. So to the guys at TrueKit, for all your help, and we asked lots and lots of questions. We appreciate your help and support. Well done, guys.
Thanks, guys. So we are heading west. We're going to be on the Ningaloo coast for about 6 months. So send us your tips. Where should we take our TrueKit? What do you want to see us do? And where should we go? We want some tips from people who have been there before. So hit us up. Tell us. Leave us a message in the comments, and we will do our best to explore the places you tell us to go.
In the meantime,
stay salty!